Welcome, curious minds. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a market that often doesn't get the spotlight, but honestly, the numbers here are truly eye-opening, the global kidswear market.
Mm,
We're pulling out the key insights from the Global Kidswear Market Forecast 2021-2033 to really understand its incredible expansion and, well, what it tells us about bigger global shifts.
It really is a sector that, might seem a bit niche at first glance,
Right.
but the data shows some fascinating shifts, changes in consumer spending, global demographics. Our mission today is really to uncover what's driving this significant growth, which often flies under the radar, and what it means for families, everywhere.
Okay, let's unpack this then.
Yeah.
The report projects the overall market is set to more than double. We're talking soaring from around $170 billion back in 2021 to nearly $400 billion by 2033.
Huge numbers.
It is. And that's a robust 7.2% compound annual growth rate, basically the average yearly growth over that whole period. So here's where it gets really interesting. What on earth is behind this massive surge?
Well, what's fascinating here is the report points to several key drivers.
Yeah.
And they paint a picture that goes way beyond just, basic clothes for kids.
Yeah.
We're seeing rising birth rates, particularly in emerging markets.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally, more potential customers.
Okay, that makes sense.
But critically, there's also increased discretionary spending on children's fashion. Parents are spending more. And there's this growing demand for branded stuff, comfortable apparel, and increasingly sustainable options too.
So it's not just about function anymore.
Exactly. It's not just about keeping kids clothed. It reflects this broader trend. Parents investing more in their children's comfort, in their style, even their values, kind of mirroring what we see in adult fashion.
Interesting. So with those powerful global drivers you mentioned, are we seeing this growth everywhere equally? Or are there specific, hotspots lighting up the map?
Yeah, that's a great question. If we connect this to the bigger picture, we definitely see distinct regional dynamics. Each region kind of has its own story. Take North America. It's projected to hit over $137 billion by 2033, growing steadily, about 7% a year.
Still strong.
Very strong. And while the U.S. is still the biggest piece of that pie, what's really surprising is Mexico. It's set for even faster growth, a notable 10.2% CAGR.
Oh, wow. 10.2%.
Yeah. Suggests a real shift, consumer power growing, a burgeoning middle class really starting to prioritize children's fashion.
That is a powerful indicator. Okay, what about Europe and Asia? Similar patterns there.
Europe's also set for significant expansion, looking at over $114 billion growth there, nearly 7% annually, seems really supported by high fashion awareness.
Right.
And a strong preference, which you mentioned, for sustainable children's clothes. It shows how consumer values are really shaping purchases now.
Mm-hmm.
Then you look at Asia Pacific. That market's expected to reach over $91 billion. India really stands out. Strong growth.
Why in India specifically?
Well, it's fueled by rapid urbanization, rising disposable incomes, people just have more money to spend, and the absolute explosion of online retail makes buying easier.
Makes sense.
But interestingly, the collective rest of APAC, so countries beyond the biggest players, that group actually leads all subregions, a remarkable 11.4% CAGR.
11.4. So there are some really dynamic, maybe less explored markets driving that.
Precisely. Huge potential there.
Okay, fascinating. And the rest of the world? South America, the Middle East, how do they fit in?
Well, South America is forecasted to reach over $14 billion. Brazil's the main engine there.
Okay.
And the Middle East market expected to hit over $16 billion. That's largely driven by affluence, especially in places like the UAE. They boast a strong 8.6% CAGR. It shows how wealth translates pretty directly into higher spending on kids' stuff, often premium items.
Right. We've covered a lot of significant growth across the board, but which region is truly, leading the charge? Where's the most explosive growth happening globally?
Yeah, that raises the key question, doesn't it? When you look at the pure rate of growth, Africa. Africa is emerging as the fastest growing region in the world for kids' wear.
Really?
Correct.
Africa.
Yes. It's expected to surge from under $6 billion back in 2021 to nearly $21 billion by 2033. That's an impressive 10.1% compound annual growth rate.
Wow, that is an astonishing jump, nearly quadrupling.
It is a truly phenomenal acceleration.
So what's driving that kind of growth in Africa? What are the specifics there?
Within Africa, South Africa looking at 10.5% CAGR, and Nigeria at 10.3% are showing particularly strong expansion.
Okay.
And it's not just demographics, though the young growing population is a huge factor. It's also supported by an increasing middle-class income.
Right, spending power again.
Exactly. And, crucially, higher investment in the actual retail infrastructure for children's fashion.
Yeah.
More shops, better access. It really shows how these fundamental demographic shifts in economic development are reshaping entire industries.
Yeah.
Creating opportunities where maybe you least expect them.
Absolutely incredible shifts happening. So wrapping this up then, what does this all mean for you listening?
Well, this deep dive, I think, reveals that the kidswear market is actually a fascinating lens. A way to view global economic trends, demographic shifts, and, importantly, evolving consumer values. It's really a testament to changing priorities. Parents are increasingly making choices that reflect comfort, style, yes, but also those broader ethical considerations, like sustainability. It's more than just clothes.
Definitely more than just clothes. So here's something for you to mull over. How might this increasing demand we talked about for branded and comfortable apparel or sustainable children's apparel, how might that signal a shift in how society views childhood itself? Perhaps seeing it as a more distinct consumer phase where things like comfort and individual expression are valued much earlier on. Something to think about. Welcome to the Deep Dive. You know, when we think about kids' clothes, it's easy to just think, oh, that's cute, right? But actually, there's this whole fascinating world underneath it. Trends, economics, even some really surprising innovation.
Yeah, definitely.
So today, we're going to get into that. We're exploring the kids' wear market and how it's changing.
That's right. And for this deep dive, we've gathered insights from recent market research, including some great data from cognitive market research. Our mission really is to unpack what's driving things, what's holding things back, and some of these really interesting new trends popping up.
Okay, so let's start with what's pushing the growth. I mean, obviously parents are spending more, but it seems like more than just that.
It is. First off, you've got rising disposable income globally. That's a big one.
And you see that especially in, say, Asia, Latin America, Africa, places with that growing middle class.
Exactly. And it's fueling this premiumization trend. It's not just basic needs anymore.
So parents are actually seeking out higher quality, maybe branded stuff for their kids.
Yeah, very much so. It's almost like an investment. And it's not only income driving it, social media, celebrity culture, that plays a huge role.
Oh, for sure. Like influencer marketing, even celebrity kids setting trends.
Absolutely. Think about collaborations, too, like with cartoons or movie franchises. That really boosts interest.
Right. But it's not all about the flashy trends, is it? There's a real practical side, too. Comfort, safety.
Definitely. Parents are actively looking for hypoallergenic materials, organic cotton, non-toxic fabrics. That's becoming key.
And features like adjustable waistbands or soft seams, those aren't just extras now, are they? They're kind of expected.
They really are. Gives parents peace of mind, makes life easier. But, it's not all straightforward growth. There are some real challenges in this market.
Okay, like what?
Well, one thing that really stands out is how fast kids grow. The rapid growth cycles.
Ah, yes. The bane of every parent's existence.
Right. And tied to that is sizing inconsistency between brands. You order a size 4 from 2 places, you get 2 totally different fits.
Ugh, tell me about it. That must be frustrating for customers and a nightmare for manufacturers trying to manage stock.
It really is. It leads to returns, dissatisfaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, inventory headaches are a big part of it.
That makes sense. And I guess you also have things like seasonal demand, needing specific clothes for winter or holidays.
Exactly, which means really short product life cycles for a lot of items.
And the competition must be intense.
Oh, incredibly. You've got fast fashion, luxury brands, and then all the private labels from like supermarkets and big online retailers. They're all squeezing margins.
So brands have to constantly innovate just to stay relevant.
They do. Which brings us to, well, how are they innovating? What are the emerging trends shaping the future here?
Okay, let's talk trends.
Well, sustainability is huge. Eco-friendly materials, think organic cotton, recycled fabrics, biodegradable packaging, that's gaining a lot of ground.
Interesting. Even things like clothing rentals or upcycled fashion for kids, is that catching on?
It is. Slowly but surely, it reflects that bigger consumer push towards, more ethical choices.
And then there's technology. This part really caught my eye in the research. Smart clothing for kids.
Yeah, it's starting to happen. Things like temperature-regulating fabrics, which is pretty cool.
Or jackets with GPS trackers built in. Wow, talk about peace of mind for parents.
Exactly. And even stain-resistant materials. Anything that boosts practicality and makes the clothes last longer is a big win for busy families.
Makes total sense.
And one last major thing is a cultural shift we're seeing reflected in the clothes themselves.
How so?
Well, More gender-neutral styles are appearing, which is a big change. And also adaptive wear.
Adaptive wear. You mean clothing designed for kids with disabilities?
Precisely. Things like magnetic closures instead of buttons, maybe flat seams, wider openings, designs that make dressing easier and more comfortable for everyone.
That's fantastic. So it's about inclusivity.
It is. And these kinds of inclusive designs really help brands build like a deeper connection with modern families and their values.
So wrapping this up, it's clear the kids' wear market is way more complex than just cute clothes. You've got premiumization, tech like GPS jackets, sustainability. It's this mix of consumer desires, practical needs, and some really cutting-edge stuff.
It really is. And it makes you think, doesn't it? How our values as parents, as a society, are literally being woven into the fabric of what our kids wear now.
That's a great point.
It poses an interesting question for the future. What else will our kids be wearing that reflects the kind of world we're trying to build for them?